2 years ago, I had a rough patch in life. The year began with having a divorce. I then fell asleep with my foot on the radiator and I woke up with a massive burn. From the antibiotics from the burn, I got a stomach bug that lasted for 2 months and made me lose 7 kilos. And to top it all off, I got a pressure sore on my bottom that didn't allow me to sit down for 9 weeks. Good thing I'm not in a wheelchair, huh? It was rough to say the least. But somehow I still managed to stay pretty positive through this experience and have a good outlook on life. So, how did I do this? Well, that's what I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to teach you one of life's most important skills: how to lead yourself through a tough time. And before I get into that, I want to tell you a little bit about my story and how I learned how to do this. Because I did my 10,000 hours on this. And it all started with me, 7 years old, sitting in the car, going to my grandparents in Gothenburg in Sweden to celebrate Christmas. And when I'm in the car, I get a pain in my bottom from sitting down. 2 weeks later, that pain is diagnosed. It's cancer. It's a tumor the size of a fist growing in my lower back. And about 3 weeks later, I spend my 8th birthday about 1 kilometer from here in the Karolinska Hospital getting chemotherapy for cancer. After that, followed the year with chemo, radiation, and all different kinds of treatments. But treatment wasn't very effective. I ended up having surgery when I was 9, removing the cancer, but also cutting nerves going to my legs, and that's why I'm in a wheelchair today. After the surgery, I wasn't allowed to sit down for a year. And to top it all off, the cancer came back 3 times in my lungs. And oh yeah, one more thing. Just when I got healthy from cancer, my best friend was killed in a drunk driving accident. It was tough, to say the least. And during this time, I had to learn how to cope. I had to find ways how to get through this. Because if I wouldn't have done that, I think I would have gotten crazy. I think I would have ended up being locked up in a small room with soft walls. And looking back at this period in my life, I realized I needed to find those tools in my mental toolbox that I can use to get through this time. And the cool thing with those tools, it's the exact same tools that I've used in my life to be able to do things that I never ever thought would have been possible. Especially not in a wheelchair. Things like being the first person to climb Mount Kebnekaise, the highest mountain of Sweden, in a wheelchair. Climbing Kilimanjaro in Africa. Skiing to the South Pole, one of the coldest places on Earth. And doing 145 skydives in a day. Isn't it pretty ironic, though, that it's a guy in a wheelchair here who does skydiving, who's here to tell you how to get through tough times in life? So today, I want to share 3 of the most important tools in my mental toolbox. 3 tools that can really help you when you're in a tough spot. The first one is to take ownership of your situation. So what does that really mean, ownership? Well, to me, it's acceptance. It's accepting where you are in life, what's happening to you. It might not be your fault. You might not have caused this, but you still gotta accept it. It can be hard. Accepting that you're in a wheelchair and never gonna get to play football with your friends again. accepting that you have a pressure sore and can't sit down for 9 more weeks. It's not fun. You might not like the situation, but to be able to move forward, to be able to get some strength, we need to accept where we are. And then we can find solutions and get energy to move forward. Second one is to embrace gratitude. But before we get into that, we need to gain some perspective. Few things are as good for us as to zoom out of our own little bubble and to get perspective. My perspective, when I wasn't allowed to sit down for 9 weeks, was my friend Saga. Saga wrote to me when she was 14. She'd recently been diagnosed with cancer the same way that I had as a kid. And they were going to do surgery on her, and she was going to end up in a wheelchair. And she wanted to understand what her life would be like. So we had a coffee. We became friends. We talked about our cancers, and we bonded over that. But Saga, she was one of the unlucky ones. No matter how much treatment she got, it didn't work out. Saga took her last breath when she was 17. When she realized that she's not going to make it, she set up a bucket list for herself with all the things that she wanted to do before it was too late. And she did a lot of them with a smile on her face. And when I couldn't sit down, when I was feeling sorry for myself at home, I got perspective from Saga. I got so much perspective from her. Because if Saga can do this, be kind of happy and then go for her goals when her time is very limited, then I can also be happy even though I can't sit down. So get some perspective on things. And perspective leads us on to the last piece of the puzzle, which is to embrace gratitude. Because to me, perspective is the key to gratitude. There's a lot of science about gratitude, how it's so good for us to be grateful and feel gratitude. And oh, it's so good. And you watch people on Instagram, you know, they lay there on the beach with a cocktail in their hand, taking a selfie. Oh, I'm so grateful. Which is awesome, right? Of course you should be grateful. But to me, there is so much more power in gratitude when we can feel gratitude on a bad day, on a tough day, a day when we're not on the beach with a cocktail. And it can be small things. Gratitude doesn't have to be about the big things in life. It can be like writing down what's been good today. Forcing yourself to shift perspective a bit, shift your focus, and looking at the good things. That's exactly what I did when I couldn't sit down. I tried to find good things every day, and I would focus on them. These are 3 small mental tools that we can all use every day to make our life a little bit better. I was using every single one of them when I couldn't sit down. So the question is, did any of these things make me able to sit down anymore? Or any faster? No. But it made the whole situation way easier to handle. And to me, that's what mental training is all about. Because we're all going to go through really hard times in life. We're all going to face major challenges. And it's not about what challenges we face, it's about how we face them. I was forced to learn these things as a kid. But I'm so thankful and grateful that I know them today. Know how to navigate life a little bit easier. But the thing is, I still need to practice. I still need to practice every day. I live in Sweden, a country where it's a lot of snow. And I'm in a wheelchair. The combination with snow plus wheelchair, it's not fun. I practice these things pretty much every day to keep sane. And I think that's so important to put these little things into our routines and rituals. Remind ourselves. How can we accept our situation? How can we find some perspective? And how can we find gratitude? Look for those things. Because I promise you, it's going to make your life a little bit better. And to all of you out there going through a tough time, I can promise you there's ways to make it easier. Don't make my mistakes, learn from them instead. And I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.